In my last video I farmed for gold weapons and police vans and hardlock chests. I haven't found any. I am beside myself. Before I gave up I realized 1 or 5 of 3 things could be preventing me from finding them. I haven't started a new game plus save. I didn't reach max legend level. I'm dead and this is my hell. Or maybe it's because I downloaded but didn't even start the following DLC. Could the following affect the main game's mechanics somehow? No, probably not, but I'm going to try finding gold weapons in the following anyways. The following is a fan fiction continuation of the main game written by Techland's employees, by the way. I start this bitch when someone finds one of my burn victims, so I hover around him so he'll keep his mouth shut. He knows I'll burn him again if he doesn't. He mentions a vast countryside everyone ignored until now. I volunteer to check it out and rush off as he snitches on me. I do a sweet double jackknife twist into the DLC, find my first blueprint, immediately attack the weakest zombie I can find in front of all the other zombies to establish that I'm not at the bottom of the food chain. Find some locals, but before they can say no soliciting, I offer my services in exchange for private information anyways. I walk all over this pushover before finding a young photosensitive girl who's trying not to have a seizure. Find this bozo named Jazeera who tells me too much personal information. And that's when I meet this man with the appearance of someone who's got nothing to lose. He tells me I'm to fetch a buggy. I run into all the people who I try to help in Haran but got away. They throw a magical grenade at me that knocks me down even though I'm behind cover. So I demonstrate my value by showing them I never skip leg day. By the way, I'm at the best spot in countryside to farm for gold weapons. I'll be back to farm here real soon. Take the buggy back to the human garbage who wanted it, but I'm told by this underage looking goth chick giving me the f me eyes that the water pressure in her shower is a bit too low. So I turn it up to lethal levels. Not before trying to knock this man into his own pit that lesser people usually get knocked into for scripted reasons. I fail the first time and learn that the dude disappears if you die and come back, so I back out to the main menu to try again. Fail a second time but manage to knock him in the third try in the least satisfying way possible. I satisfied myself in other ways to make up for that. Showed this man that these boots were made for kicking. I satisfy myself all over this Geardo who isn't as easy to push around. Everyone's more or less satisfied, so I turn my attention to farming but only find greens and blues. My RNG seems to have taken a nosedive for some reason. I farmed for an hour maybe and came up with a theory. Could it be I'm only finding blues and greens because I'm not progressed enough in the following? I used to tell people all the time that progression doesn't matter, which it doesn't really. But I am out of the 2 weeks of farming so far. I've never had such bad luck. I don't know what I was trying to say there. That's what's written. Fuck it, I'm not going to fix it. I give farming a rest for now and start leveling up my driver skill, which is best done at night, when volatiles can interrupt you every fucking minute. They're here, they're queer, and they're all up in your face about it. Anyways, I can't level up my driver skill yet cause the volatiles beat the shit out of my buggy faster than the zombies knocking into my undercarriage as I'm running them over can. I lack the required things and such that it takes to maintain the buggy parts. Come back to Jazeera's place where, to my dismay, everyone still has their skin. I knew that goth chick was full of shit when she told me she showered. I asked Jazeera about this zombie cure everyone's talking about, and I'm informed that I need to prove myself to this lame cult. There's a scale that measures favors I do for people. The higher my rank on the scale, the more I can throw into people's faces. Really rub their noses in it. This is something I already do, but here not only is it expected, it's a way of life. I start with this shirtless man while farming for resources that I need to repair my buggy, not without unlocking every police van and hardlock chest I come across. Make my way to the quartermaster and he tells me I need to do some stuff or whatever. I wasn't paying attention while playing this. I was watching Hunters at full volume while recording, so I couldn't learn what he said while editing this even if I wanted to, which I don't. What I can tell you is I got to meet the guy who sells buggy parts. Skipped his dialogue and spent about 100,000 in Bitcoin buying as many replacement parts as I cared to. Now I can max out my driver skill by first getting nitro and reinforced cage. Mowing down these fields full of dicks should be easier. This part was fun yet tedious, kind of like going to Disney World but having to watch someone else's kid the whole time. I got my driver skill high enough to buy some orange tier parts from the buggy man, but that's when I learned that the parts tier in his inventory depends on my level of favors done for people, not my driver skill. It makes sense that I need to do this guy solid first so I can turn around and berate him into giving me better stuff. At the time though, this pissed me off to no end, so I tried to cool off by farming a little only to find an orange gun, which rubbed me the wrong way. With my mood all out of sorts, I tried burning someone alive to cheer myself up a bit, but of course I can't even have that. Numb with rage, I farmed for gold weapons, finding 3 orange weapons instead, and a king mod. After picking any object up out of a chest or a van, that container won't spawn anything else, so I of course keep going back to the chest I just looted. I only did that 5 more times. I punished myself the same way my dad used to when I pooped on the rug as a baby. Rolled up a newspaper and gave myself a good whack on the nose with it. I take a gander at all the stuff I've accumulated over the past couple weeks. Earn the HTU hammer, which is one of the event rewards, clear out a hive, and level up my rank to newcomer. I still don't have enough to hold over the locals' heads yet, so I spent the next 20 minutes killing zombies, unlocking the Volcatronics. I said it right, Volcatronics, which is a pretty sweet rifle. I end up losing it trying to dupe it for a friend later on though. I return to Jazir and learn about a kid he's gaslighting, and he suggests that I should join in, which I do of course. Sounds fun. This cult guy is willing to meet me, but only to hand out life lessons along with a free crossbow. I find this pussy screaming from the ground, so I see how far I can throw the guys trying to take his lunch money. Only so I can hear him scream louder while he tries to put out the fire I started on him in the poutiest way I've ever seen. Clear out another hive, collect a bunch of resources, farm for a while finding my 15th king mod of this series. I find another orange weapon, and according to the wiki, I should be finding more golds than oranges. To make up for my failures, I take my happy ass across the map and kill a giant spitter for not being a swallower. He's actually one of the 5 freak bosses in the DLC. Before long, I find myself at the dam where I find Ali and a cult member just chilling in a crowd of zombies. Ali's mustache tells me that the cult members praying will keep the zombies away, no matter how many zombies I throw at them. I kick zombie after zombie into their living only non-inclusive section, which I find offensive, only to learn that the prayers failed and someone got eaten when I had my back turned. Ali and his mustache inform me that he needs my protection so that he can repair a thingy. I want to see where this rabbit hole goes, so I do as I'm told, giving me more to rub into the locals' faces. I find my happy place as the cream filling in this white Oreo cookie, one of those off-brand things that I hate, but this one's delicious. Nom, nom, nom. Attempt to burn some children alive by doing what Ozzy GG did in his video on how to punish these little so-and-sos. I believe it worked because I find a loot bag in place of a body that I made, but didn't get to see it. I would go back and do this endlessly, but I reached a checkpoint that won't let me. So I drop kick a volatile instead, farm police fans for a while, clear out another hive, gave these guys a one-way flight all the way to the scene of the... what the f***? He survived that? This once living miracle made a believer out of me, and I watched someone do a rain dance while on fire. Does being lit on fire cause people to stroke out or something? That's a question best left to a doctor. I'm no doctor, but I'm really good at stabbing people. I visit the Buggy Man to buy some orange buggy parts now that my rank is high enough, and max out my rank by clearing out enough hives. Now that I can berate motherfuckers to death, I try farming gold weapons only to find 2 orange weapons and 2 king mods. My will may be indomitable, but I still have feelings, and this game just hurt my feel-goods. Never drink and drive while emotionally compromised. You might try and drive through toxins. Now that I'm a disciple, and only when I'm a disciple, will the mother grace me with her presence. I find that guy that I can smell through my screen. The mother still won't talk to me, in front of other people anyways. I started the following DLC before beating the main game's actual story quest, but I am playing both at the same time. Sort of. I plan to finish off Rise before I let the mother finish me off to see if anything triggers my finding of gold tier weapons. I could get gold weapons anytime by ranking up my zombie invasions rank or turning in dockets to the quartermaster we saw earlier, but that's not what this is all about. Now it's time to visit Jazir. He kinda blah blahs at me until I start skipping his dialogue. He gives us a keycard to Techland knows what since I skipped what he said about it, but I can't do main quest stuff until I do some side quests first, so I choose to investigate a plane crash that turns out to belong to these beautiful shifty-eyed brothers. They give me a fetch quest device, which inadvertently leads me to the blueprint for the experimental military traction part So I spend the next 20 minutes finding the rest of the gold buggy part blueprints. If this video gets 20,000 likes, I'll make another tutorial on how to get those. I try finishing the quest by meleeing all the gunmen who are searching for the twins, die 5 or 6 times before completing it the lame way, spend some time just looking at these alluring human beings. Then I continue with the main story by trying to beat this giant demolisher to death by kicking my buggy into his shins. Talk to this Colt guy, re-up on buggy related supplies. Got stuck on this quest that I had to look up a YouTube video for. I never would have guessed to check the corpses on the ground. Half of the ground in the entire game is covered in dead bodies. I would try a beat the game without walking on a single dead body challenge, but I already know it's not possible. I kill this demolisher very easily by kicking my buggy at him and realize what my next video is gonna be. I'm gonna kill all the freak bosses in the following in this fashion. The trick will actually be getting my buggy to them, but that's for the next video. I hate this old man's missions so much that I'm gonna skip to the part where he did what Epstein didn't do. He killed himself, and Crane talks about how inconvenient it is, which is exactly the right thing to do in this situation. I insert my dominance into this demolisher's shins a second time. I start bossing Jazeer around, but he complies before I get to rub his nose in the fact that I turned his water pressure up to deadly levels. If there's one thing I could change about the currency and countryside, that is that I get to actually dole out my cash. It really takes the wind out of my sails when I'm not allowed to do so. I go for a late night drive, dive for getting out of my buggy, find an orange weapon, and drive to the granary to test out my idea of killing all the freak bosses starting with Behemoth. I run into 2 problems instantly. He's surrounded by explosive barrels, so killing him strictly with the buggy is going to be difficult. Doing this at night is next to impossible with volatiles all up in my grill every second. They got on my nerves more than anything. The buggy doesn't want to cooperate. I'm not sure if my challenge is even possible, which isn't that awesome since getting the buggy to this freak in particular is the easiest. So I try facing my buggy in a direction that's not stupid and halfway succeed. Notice how the shit clings to the air? There's a shit blizzard coming. I struggle a bit here with all the problems I mentioned combining into a shit-nami tidal wave washing over me. Maybe I'll drown in the undershit. I could build a sail and get carried off by the whispering winds of shit only to get attacked by shithawks and abandon my shit raft. After decisive victory by the volatiles, they decide to be the bigger man and leave, but I'm petty so I get a couple digs in on them. I face a different problem now, and that is never-ending virals spawning in. I get my buggy into the little fighting arena and kick it into the behemoth to find that it's the strongest weapon in the game. And then I die. I come back and nearly kill the larger-than-life, smaller-than-average cocksucker, but decide that it's for another video. You'll just have to wait and see how that turns out next week. A member of the Mother's posse got kidnapped by Rise's men. Oh yeah, this part is about Rise's men, by the way. I actually forgot while editing this video. That detail is so unimportant. They tortured him, and it's fallen to me to continue that torture with stupid questions and hammer throwing. I drive to the lighthouse and get a message saying that this is the last mission in the following. This is where I started a New Game Plus save in the main game. I finished the main story some time ago and wanted to check and see if I can get gold weapons without beating the following. I also maxed out my legend level and tried farming at legend level 250. Starting a New Game Plus save skips the prologue, which kinda sucks. I perform a glitch that a member in my Xbox club posted to the feed that shows me how to get into the cache that you can normally only get by doing the Oh Brother Where Art Thou side mission. I find Jade and look forward to killing her again very soon. Before I can farm, I have to burn the Anison airdrop first. Jade accuses me of feeling bad for getting the best man she ever knew killed. I literally tell her I don't care over the mic, but she continues talking at me as if I didn't just say that. That's a thing that actually happens in this game. Anyways, I begin farming in the slums only to find 1 king, 1 orange, and 2 purple weapons. After that I farmed for hours, never finding any gold weapons. Something's amiss. I haven't beat the following yet, so maybe that's somehow keeping the gold weapons from spawning in, but I doubt it. I continue the final mission. Pull an intervention on a sentient trash can before Rise's men interrupt us. I killed him for it, and spent the next 10 minutes trying to find these dumbass vials while blinded by the overexposure caused by pumpkin spice shit. Make my way to the dam where I fail at this jump. To punish myself, I blind myself some more with the pumpkin shit. That'll show me. But I'm able to quickly deduce where I need to climb. There's probably a ledge in my blind spot, and I make it to the entrance to the mother's hangout. There's a long 2-minute walk to mother while she tells me about a bunch of things and stuff that happened. I had heavier things weighing on my mind, like what kind of cheese I'm gonna have with my sausage. She shows me why she wears a mask and then gives me a choice. I wasn't paying attention, so I'm not sure what to choose. I can choose to sacrifice something. If it's another person, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Or I can choose to just leave. I waited 10 minutes to see if she would decide for me. If I wanted, I could remain dubious indefinitely though. I wait another 20 minutes before deciding to tell her to frig off. She gets a little slap happy, but I'm slap happier. I've been known to cut a little rug in my day. I bitch slap her so hard that she forgets where she is and leads me down a hall. I follow her into a room, and I don't want to talk about what happened in the 30 seconds that I was in that room. So I'm cruising down the road, and I have a noticeable drip. This distracted me a little, and I may have hit one, maybe 2 people, but there weren't going to be any witnesses for much longer. It's like it never happened in the first place. I start farming for gold weapons to get my mind off of what just happened, and I go hard since I've now completed the following DLC. I find more orange weapons and king mods galore. I even clip into the police van showing how weapons don't actually spawn in until the second you open the container. I thought that was neato. And that's when I found it. The Golden Boy outfit. I finally get to wear the outfit I'm known for. In the end, I played 110 hours and unlocked about 3,000 hardlock chests and police vans in the past 3 weeks of farming. I am convinced that gold weapons can no longer be found in containers around the map. Back in the day, I could find gold weapons easily in containers, but we didn't have prison heists and Bozak dockets rarely gave you gold weapons. So now I'm thinking that Techland made it so you can't find gold weapons anymore. I try to farm a little bit on Xbox too, using the profile that I used to get the gold weapons back in the day with, but I was only able to get orange weapons. That's it for the video. In the next video I plan on killing all 6 freak bosses with my buggy, if it's possible. I'm looking forward to showing you that since I worked so hard on it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or learned anything. I made a dislike button in the comments, so don't forget to like the dislike button if you didn't like the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.